right, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Two Plus podcast. Today, I'm joined by Damian, who is playing in the upcoming 1500 point tournament. You may have seen a few videos about in Western Sydney, part of the Western Sydney Wargamers group. It's happening next week. 1500 points, about 20 players. My first tournament, and it'll be the first time I get to meet people like Damian. So, Damian, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Want to maybe just start by talking pre-Old World. We'll get into Old World as well, but just tell me your Warhammer journey, basically. How far does it go back and what does it involve?
I've been playing Warhammer since 2001. So it started way back when in my school, actually. And we had a wargaming club there. My teacher ran it.
Awesome.
And initially it started with 40K and then worked its way into a bit of Lord of the Rings. And then I was hesitant, very hesitant until my local gaming group just bugged the hell out of me to play some fantasy. So I gave in, bought heavily into Skaven, and from around 2004 to 2016 when Age of Sigmar came out, I ran almost purely Skaven.
I bet it must kind of burn a little bit to see the Rat's not doing too well in Old World then.
It's fine. The thing is with Skaven, you at least have a pile of the ones that you killed and the pile of the ones your opponent killed, and if you kill
Yeah,
more, you win the game,
exactly. Yeah.
right?
Obviously, I've got your Wood Elf list that you're bringing to the tournament on the screen. What is the story behind your connection to Wood Elves? Why you play them and why you're bringing them to this tournament?
Wood Elves have always been a rather underplayed faction whenever I played, and I've loved the aesthetic of them for so long. I mean, they are knife-eared things, but that's okay. I can look past that. Love my Wood Elves.
Yeah, well, I obviously, not obviously for anyone who's just watching for this time, I play Wood Elves as well. The aesthetic is definitely the appeal, or was the appeal for me. I think the play style can be a bit divisive because it's pretty anti-Warhammer. A lot of people like to just run units straight at each other, and these guys definitely don't do that. But they are a lot of fun to play when you pull it off, I think. But I'll pull up your list and let's go through some of the reasoning behind it. I'll just run through it first. So you got the Glade Lord on the Dragon that you saw there. He's got the Spear of Twilight, an Annoyance of Netlings, and a Befuddlement of Mischief Spites. A level 2 on foot with High Magic and the Oaken Stave. 9 Glade Guard, full command with Arcane Bodkins and the Potion of Foolhardiness. Foolhardiness, is that immune to psychology? I can't remember.
I can't remember. I think I just needed a 5-point magic item to get me
Yeah.
over the line. So it may
Yeah, makes
actually
sense.
be immune to psych.
Yeah. You've got 2 units of Glade, 5 Glade Guard, sorry, Glade Riders with Arcane Bodkins again, full command. 3 Warhawk Riders, which I'm super pumped about, Arcane Bodkins and a Wind Rider. 5 Wild Riders, full command with the Banner of the Hunter King, which is the Vanguard banner. And then you've got 2 Great Eagles in rare. Why don't you
Yeah.
just give me a brief overview of the list, how it works? Obviously, you got a dragon in there, but what else do you want to do with this list?
So when I originally created my list, it was mostly foot infantry and a whole bunch of other stuff. I shared it to the boys in the Western Warriors, and they're like, "Oh, it looks kind of crap if you're not going to win much, yada yada yada." I'm like, "All right, fair enough." And then that night, I had a few too many drinks, and I created this.
Like a bit of late night list making. Tell me about the dragon. So 1500 points, a dragon obviously dominates a game pretty substantially. It's a fair chunk of points. So if you bring it down, it's a big deal. But it'll be tough for a lot of people to deal with that. What made you think about bringing the dragon?
I brought the dragon just because it was a point sink. It meant I didn't have to paint much at all because I already had one painted. It just needs rebasing, as actually the whole army does. Um, Otherwise, I just do you ever just hear the saying needs more dragons?
Yeah.
Pretty much it.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. And I'll pull up your photos again, just have a look at it because it's well painted as well. So congrats there. You've also got Spell Singer on foot, which is interesting. Obviously, what else? I think, have the cap. Yeah, they do. Where you can only have one Lord level character, so you wouldn't, maybe even wouldn't have been able to fit in a level 3 or a level 2 Spellweaver anyway. But on foot, running high magic, which is fun, and the Oaken Stave, which is really strong. Is this going in? You don't have to give away all your secrets, but I presume it's going in this unit of Glade Guard.
Look, you know, I'm not going to give away secrets either, but
Yeah.
there's going to be a hole in the Glade Guard where it may fit.
Yeah, fair. What's the plan behind high magic? You don't have the lore familiar, so you're rolling for your spells. What are you hoping for?
Um, I don't even know. I think it was I saw one of the spells that gave me, was it Frenzy maybe?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They have Fury of Cain. Not fit. No, it's not Frenzy, sorry. That gives just +1 attack.
It may have been the +1 attack, yeah, because that seems somewhat familiar.
Mm.
But
Um,
chucking that on your Wild Riders and they're having a fun
Definitely.
time.
Yeah, that's a very, very strong combo, especially if you get off that turn one charge with the extra attack on them. That'll be pretty brutal. You've got 2 units of 5 Glade Riders as well. Arcane Bodkins, as I mentioned, across the board. Any thought process behind that, or are you just keen on the -2 AP?
Love the -2 AP, -3 when you're rolling sixes to wound.
Mhm.
But I'm also smooth brain as hell. So I'm not going to be able to remember every witch unit having different, different, what do you call them? Missiles.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult when you got that many. I also have a unit of Glade Guard, 2 units of Deepwood Scouts, and a unit of Glade Riders, and I have Way Watchers, and I have a mixture of Hagbane, Arcane, and Swift Shiver, and it's draining just remembering that.
I
To
can
be fair,
imagine, but make yourself some tokens, whether it be, pieces of
yeah,
paper with it written down or whatever, like you could.
yeah, that's a very good point. What stood out to me when I first read this list, the Warhawk Riders, to me, probably with the War Dancers, are probably the quintessential Wood Elf unit, I think, thematically. I find like that you can't buy them anywhere for an affordable price. Have you had these for generations, or did you just recently buy them?
Warhawks? No, generations. When I
Yeah.
bought the Wood Off Army, they were a part of it.
And have you got to play much with them? Because I've heard, I'll just pull them up so we can see them because there they are. Um, have you got to get them on the table much? Because I've heard they're not too strong, but for me, the rule of cool about them makes them playable in any Wood Elf army if you wanted to.
I've had zero practice games of the Wood Elves in this edition.
Mm.
Um, Strictly that rule of cool. I saw them. I'm like, I want them in the list. I don't care how good they are or how bad they are. They're going.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
that's very
in eighth
fair.
edition, they were trash as well. Maybe they were great when the Wood Off book came out, but that's near the end of the end times.
Yeah, I'd love for them to just have a bit more playability, and I'd waste a lot of money finding them because they're on eBay for ridiculous. Like I think they're about $90 Australian for one. Um, and there's not that many of them, but I would start to seriously think about it because they're just
I
quintessential Wood
sold
Elves.
6 to Scott Norwood.
Oh yeah? He doesn't need 6. Come on, Scott, hit me up.
He doesn't need 6.
No one needs 6. Everyone only needs 3 and 3 only just to show off.
But you will also see at the Old World Tournament. So if you wanted to, just rob him in a car park, he
Yeah,
has a chance.
I won't do that, Rob, but if you want to bring them, I'll take them. Um, I just wanted to, this is your full list as well. The other thing I wanted to ask about your Glade Riders, reserve move is really, really popular with them. Was that intentional leaving it off or just left it off?
No, it was intentional.
Yeah, because that I think that yeah, I've only ever played them with the reserve move. So how do you think that you think they're going to be all right running around shooting and not getting
They've
a
still
toughness
got
3 no armor?
That's right. They've still got fire and flee though,
Yeah,
so they
that's
will
true.
somewhat survive if they try and get charged.
Yeah.
And I've already got a dragon in the list, which is probably going to make people feel bad. I've got the Wild Riders, which are probably going to make people feel bad, and I didn't want to do the trio, which is give the Wild Riders, the Glade Riders, the Vanguard move because that would just be a feel bad on top of feel bad on top of feel bad.
That's good. I'm glad that you've got some perspective because I think that's what a lot of people are scared about. Not scared, maybe not the right word, but when it comes to tournaments, this is my first tournament coming up for me across the board. And I've always kind of had the perception of what it's like at a Warhammer tournament. My experience so far with the people I've dealt with in the lead up to this tournament, it's not true. Like the whole angry nerd rage, overpowered lists across the board just doesn't seem to be there, at least in this scenario. Of course, yeah, you're going to come across dragons. I think that's kind of inevitable in Old World. I think we've got three dragons: high elf, dark elf, wood elf. I think.
Yeah, you're right.
So I'd
Then
be
there's a
interested.
Terrorgeist, which may or may not be a dragon.
Yeah, dragon light for sure. How do you think your dragon's going to go against one of the other big boys?
I'll be fine.
Yeah.
If I get him in combat, I've got the tools to mess him around.
Yeah, the spites are definitely effective, especially if you get that
Yeah,
challenge off. The -1 to hit makes them super durable.
yeah.
Um, One unit I haven't had a lot of success with is the Eagles. I think I've got the close-up photo. No, it's not going. I can see one of them there.
Yep.
How, again, don't have to give away your secrets, but what's their role in your list? Is it just pure chaff, war machine hunting? How do you want to play them?
Wouldn't be giving it away. They only really have one task. It is war machine hunting and to help out with taking out annoying little archer units.
Yeah. Yeah, they've I've had limited success with them, unfortunately. There is. But I also really loved that model as well. I got the same one. That's the Middle Earth one, I
That's the
think.
Great Eagle, yeah. Which
Yeah.
I had two of the original Wood Elf ones, except one of them
Oh,
went missing, and I've only got the one now, which is hiding behind the dragon.
yeah. Oh, right. Okay. That's where it is. Yeah, I think I've got mine into combat once. And it beat Alex's Great Eagle. We had a Great Eagle off, and that was fun. Um, Otherwise, they
So which
just
one was the
get.
Greater Eagle?
Mine ended up being the greatest of the two eagles. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, Quickly, just want to spotlight those Wild Riders again because I know Paddy, the other Paddy in this group, brought the Wild Riders with that banner and had a lot of success with them. Um, I have a unit of Wild Riders as well. I finally had a successful outing with them. I know you said you haven't had any playtime with them, but have you done the maths on them? Are you excited about the 15 base attacks as a champion as well? So 16 if you get them all in base contact.
definitely excited. My rolls are universally bad, and people can attest to that within the Western Warriors that I am known for the guy who rolls just plenty of ones. So will I do
Yeah.
anything? Remains to be seen.
Yeah, I mean, think so. We've got a battle report coming out soon with me against my mate Mike's Warriors at Chaos list, and I got mine unit of five and a unit of five chosen knights with frenzy, and my guys actually won the first round of combat. But then they didn't get the follow-up charge because he only gave ground, and then they just got absolutely annihilated the next turn. So they are
Yeah.
quintessential glass cannon, but a lot of fun. Um, I know you went to Moab recently. I think
Yep.
you took Michael's Dwarves, didn't you? What was your experience there like? What's the Australian old world scene like, and what was because that was 40-ish people, wasn't it? A pretty big tournament.
It was a pretty big tournament. I would have gone better if I didn't drop the bloody army game three. So I had to call it there. So
I
my
heard about
opponent won
that.
19-1. Yep. Yep. So did everyone else. They all make fun of me. Um, it's not my army. Of course, I had to drop
Yeah, that's all right. We won't hold it against you. But what's your what's
it.
what's the vibe like at these events, particularly these bigger ones?
That's good. Really good. I think I can make it known that I am not a fan of 3D prints because I have no idea what I'm looking at, especially when it comes to 3D print proxies.
Mm,
So if it's something that it clearly isn't, then I'm going to be looking at it going, but why?
mm.
And I only had one of those kinds of encounters in my games there. Otherwise, my opponents all cool dudes. Had a lot of fun.
Nice. Um, Going into this Western Sydney Wargamers tournament, what does a successful day out look like for you?
Rolling dice, meeting new people, making new friends, and sinking plenty of beers.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good standard to set. If you did all that and went 3-0, sure that'd be a bit sweeter.
Absolutely. I'm not here to win. I'm just here to have a good time. But if I can win and have a good time, brilliant.
Yeah, nice. Well, I'm keen for it. I reckon your list is going to do pretty well. Anything with a dragon does, but aside from that, you've got some cool stuff in there as well. So it's a nice little balance. I think no one's going to be too frustrated when they see you put down the army on the board, despite there being a dragon in there, because I think there's a lot of balance in it. So it's cool. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm looking forward to meeting you, the other guys. So yeah, thanks for coming on, Damien, and I'll see you in what is it? A week? A week tomorrow.
Yeah, next week.
Nice. Awesome. Well, yeah, thanks again, Damien.